Welcome all. So we were discussing till the Sutta Bhava, or which represents children, and the natural significator is Jupiter. This house represents intelligence, creativity, children, entertainment, the deity which the person worships or the family worships, and fortune. Now it's a trine. Trine is one of the 1, 5, and 9 houses, and it rules the belly and the womb of the person. The sixth house is called the Ripu Bhava, or the enemy, obstacles, the debts, litigation, the police cases, what happens, it's all because of the sixth house. Now, the natural significator for the sixth house is Saturn and Mars. It's a Dushtana, or a difficult house. Difficult house is because we have in overcoming obstacles in order to win in the competition and so on, and it rules the lower abdomen of a person. Now the seventh house is Jaya Bhava, or the house of spouse, and the natural significator is Venus for that. And the seventh house represents spouse, partners, contracts, and all other matters relating to relationships and so on. It's again a maraka, it's an angle. It's a maraka, the reason being for wealth and for with regard to spouse. Lot of vital energy of a human being is wasted, and it represents the lap area of a human body. The eighth house is called the Mrityusthana, or the Mrityu Bhava. It represents death and longevity of a person. Its natural significator is Saturn, and death, disasters, sexual life, loss of fortunes, mysteries, mysticism, occultism, and the transformation of a person, all is represented by the eighth house. Again, it's a Dushtana because to transform from something else takes a lot of effort and time, and it rules the genitals and anus of a person. The ninth bhava, or the ninth house, represents the Dharma bhava, or religion. Now, Sun and Jupiter are natural significators. Religion, God, Guru, fortune, father, law, father-in-law, faith, protection, humility. They are all represented by the ninth house. It's a trine or a trikona, and it is the most fortunate house of a horoscope. If a person has ninth house uh, in a strong position, then he need not worry any of the requirements of life. The dharma works in such a way, good deeds done by us. Now, good deeds need not mean doing work for sake of money. It means helping the elder people, respecting them, helping the poor, praying to God, devoting ourselves more to our consciousness, more to ourself, watering the plants, feeding the animals. All these are activities which are rewarded by the divine. But in today's world, people just simply think working for sake of money is the only way to lead life comfortably. That's not true. Whatever we do, we need to enjoy, and unless and until we do that, there is no chance of happiness and peace. And ultimately, dharma leads us to that level of peace, and that's why dharma is highly important. And people who have done lot of dharma are blessed with happiness, food, and fortune in this lifetime. So it represents the thighs and the hips of a person, of the Kala Purusha. So the 10th house is the Karma Bhava, or work, and the natural significators for this Bhava is Jupiter, Sun, Mercury, and Saturn. It rules the career, prestige, rise, success, government, material success, and it's an angle. So angle is the effort what we put, and the trains are the abilities what we possess and have. And the knees and the back are represented by the 10th house and the Karma Bhava. The 11th house is the Labha Bhava, or the house of gains. Jupiter is the natural significator. It depends upon, it signifies the gains, the desires what a human being has, friends, older siblings, selfishness, and so on. Now, in today's yuga, or the Kali Yuga, 11th house, if it is strong, then the person is able to fulfill almost all his desires. and he is the person who is actually respected in the society. But in reality, it is the ninth house which needs to be seen for actual um, divinity in a person. But since we are in a more competitive world and materialistic world, so the 11th house gains lot of importance in this yuga with respect to worldly matters. And it's again a upachaya house. As our legs do not stop walking and moving around, similarly our desires also do not stop. So they keep increasing over the period of time. And upachaya means something which grows over the period of time. So it rules the legs of a person. Yavya Bhava, or the 12th house, is the house of loss, and Saturn is the natural significator for this house. Donations, liberation, losses, old age, private pleasures, bed comforts, good sleep, and temples, they are all represented by the 12th house. It's again a Dushtana because the 12th house being the house of expenditure, people are not comfortable doing expenditure which do not fetch them some result in return. So it represents the feet of the Kala Purusha, and it also represents the final destination of a human being realizing his self. So we have tried to understand the science, and these are some of the significations of the houses. And these signs have not been created without a logic, it has a logic behind it. There are 27 nakshatras, in fact 28 nakshatras, and these nakshatras project their qualities on the sign, and the sign has been, these 27 nakshatras has been divided into 12 signs. So when a particular sign has a particular kind of a planet, the qualities of the planets are influenced by the nakshatras in those signs, and when they are projected upon the human beings, then the results are the manifestation in this universe takes place. It's simply like the picture what we see on the movie screen. So things have already been programmed, designed, and it has been edited, and things have been done. It's simply being projected on Earth. Similarly, things happen, but one might ask, then are we completely without a free will, or are we puppets in the hands of the divine? It's not so. It is what we feed in, we get the output. So the movie what we see has been created by directors and producers and actors. Similarly, it is we who are directing this movie. The kind of situations and circumstances what we are going to face in this life is created by us. So these are some of the significations. Now let's see the results of placement of planets in certain houses. Now, Sun being the Karaka for Atma, if it is well placed, now Sun is well said to be well placed if it is in the 10th house, the first house, the fourth house, and even in 6th house it can give good results. If it is well placed, and the signs where Sun is Sagittarius, Leo, its own sign, Cancer, and in Aries. And these are the places where Sun is most comfortable. If it is well placed and if it is in a good house, then the person is best off with qualities like nobility, dignity, power, leadership, and confidence. In other signs and houses, the person lacks self-esteem, no energy, no confidence, and he tries dominating others. Similarly, for Moon, Taurus is the exaltation position. Moon is comfortable in Taurus, in Aries, in Cancer, its own house, in Leo, and in Pisces, and even in Sagittarius, it is comfortable. So when Moon is well placed, and if Moon happens to be in the Lagna, 7th house and 10th house, or in trains like 1st, 5th, and 9th, then Moon gives good results like good sensitivity, good habits, stability, and health. In other houses also, Moon can give good results provided uh, the person takes to spirituality. And if it is ill placed in other houses, then overreacting, depressed, overly sensitive and stressed are the nature given by moon. Now with Mars is comfortable in its own house, which is Aries, um, in Leo, and in Capricorn being the exaltation house. In all other houses, Mars is not so comfortable. So Mars in these houses, and if it happens to be in the first, fourth, seventh, and tenth, or the first, fifth, and ninth, even in ninth house, Mars does give lot of litigations and court cases, but still, uh, if it is well placed, then positive energy is radiated, strength, courage, passion, and the person is active and he has determination to complete the work. But on the other hand, if it is ill placed, then Mars makes the person angry, irritable, overreactive, impatient, and the person shows a lot of aggression. Now, the next planet being Mercury. Mercury is comfortable in any of the houses, but it depends upon the planet with which it is associated and the planets which aspect it. So, if it is well aspected and well associated, then the person is more rational, skilled, and he has worldly brains and he has a good calculative brain. Now, if it is ill placed and if it is ill aspected, then the person is aloof, lack of concentration, lacking memory power, difficulty with communication, and is slow. With Jupiter in houses owned by Venus, Saturn, they are not, he is not comfortable. In Capricorn, Jupiter is debilitated. The person lacks the knowledge of scriptures and the logic behind the rituals associated in the um, culture. So if it is ill placed, then the person becomes highly greedy, uncaring, selfish, too pragmatic, and he has some negative outlook about life. But if it is well placed, then the person is highly humanitarian. He has high level of humility, generosity. He is more spiritual, optimistic. He has faith, and he has good judgment powers, and he has good speculative skills as well. With the next planet being Venus, Venus, if it is well placed, makes the person highly licentious, greedy, selfish, too pragmatic, and negative outlook about marital life. And even sensual corruption and lack of taste and refinement in scene, Venus is ill placed. Now, Venus, if it is placed in the house of Mars or in the house of even sometimes in the house of Saturn, still gives such tendencies. But if it is well placed in Pisces, where it is exalted, it is well placed in its own, and it gives attractiveness, refinement, grace, elegance, and smooth speech. Similarly, the next planet being Saturn, if Saturn is exalted in Libra, or if it is placed in own house, and if it happens to be in the first, fourth, seventh, and tenth, or in the trines like first, fifth, and ninth, then the person is given with lot of discipline, responsibility, realism, durability, and humility. Of course, Saturn, if it is placed in the fifth house or ninth house, does give lot of delay and difficulty with regard to children, intelligence, and the dharma. But still, after the age of 30 or 32, the person starts getting the benefits of all his hard work. But if it is ill placed, for example, in Aries or uh, even in Gemini, then the person is depressed, he has a lot of anxiety, fear, loneliness, and disappointments. And if unfortunately, if it happens to be the sixth house or the 12th house, then the native is put to a lot of trouble in his life, because Saturn wants him to realize the dark truths of life. So once he realizes that, then he is automatically on the path of liberation. The next planet being, or the Graha being Rahu. Rahu, if it is placed in any of the sign, it actually magnifies the effects of the lord of that sign. For example, if Rahu is placed in Pisces, ruled by Jupiter, it would try to magnify the effects given by that particular house. If suppose if it happens to be the second house, then it tries to give income and family, but that family and income would be by some deceitful means. It would not be from right means. So if Rahu is ill placed, which most of the cases happens because in the age of Kali, each of us try to deceive others in some or the other way. So naturally, our Rahu's placement would not be in a good uh, place or a good sign. So if it is ill placed, then there is possibility of lot of mental disturbance, addiction, illusion, violent nature, trouble, and a lot of licentious habits can be seen. If it is well placed, Rahu is well placed in Taurus or in Aquarius, which is its own sign, and if these signs happen to be uh, the Trikona or the konas, which is 1, 4, 7, and 10, and 1, 5, and 9, then probably Rahu might give some good results by making a broader outlook of life. So, when it is well placed, the person has originality, inspiration, insight, uniqueness, and exotic, and it it helps the person to get a higher dimension of life. So, on the other hand, Ketu, if it is ill placed, then the person becomes highly eccentric and explosive, fanatic, and there are a lot of emotional problems and disturbances, mental disturbances. But however, it takes the person towards spirituality. If it is well placed, again it gives spiritualism, good intuition, universality, the oneness among all the living beings, and the person is able to experience that oneness. Subtle mindedness and sensitivity is bestowed when Ketu happens to be in the sign of Cancer or in the sign of Scorpio or Pisces. So, all these signs are more mystic in nature, they are watery in nature, and Ketu is comfortable in these signs. So, this is the general description of the kind of results given by each planet placed in various houses and signs. So, now we have seen the logic behind the interpretation. So, we have to see the nakshatra in which the planet is placed, the quality of the planet, the house in which it is placed, and the sign in which it is placed. So, the nature and the circumstances represented by all these combined together gets manifested in our life. So, people say again that there is no free will. This is not true. We have a free will to accept the good within the horoscope what we have. Now, in our horoscope, there is possibility of we cheating and getting income. There is a possibility where we can work hard and earn money. There will be possibility where we can do lot of divine service, and then with that also we can make our living. Now the option remains with us what we want to choose. So free will is there for each and every individual at every moment of time. Now the horoscope might say that the person might commit suicide. There could be certain tendencies if say Rahu is ill placed in the Dushtanas. But then to commit suicide or not is still with the person. He still has the option to choose between to do or not to do. So, free will is available to each and every individual without fail, and it is very wrong to say that we do not have free will. Yes, if our actions are bad, then the kind of result would also be bad. And this is a very simple logic. It's a law of cause and effect. So similarly, even in our life, since this is a cosmic science, the kind of attitude we show towards other people, the kind of attitude with which we approach life is going to reflect back on us. And that is what astrology is trying to map with the help of horoscope of a person. Yes, the deeds which we have done in our past, we are not able to have any proof for it. So this sign seems to be a probability science, but that's not true because we all know that the energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, and it can change one form to another. So this rule applies to even human beings, the soul within us. The soul within us is the supreme energy, and it is beyond this material energy, but still it takes another life, another kind of body which has to be accepted, and which scriptures and Bible and Quran are all trying to say that it's reincarnation. Reincarnation is true. So, with this basic science, let's get more deep into the science of astrology to understand how combination of planets can affect each and every individual with various aspects of life. So, there are many concepts what our Maharishis developed in the ancient times to find the kind of circumstances and when a particular event would fructify. Now we come across various situations where people undergo accidents and there is miscarriage and so many other events take place in human life. Now why does such events take place and why during that particular period of time? So for these reasons, clear interpretation, the dasha system was introduced. And this dasha system helps an astrologer to predict in what time period a particular event might take place. So, for example, generally in most of the charts we see that during the dasha of Jupiter, during the dasha of Venus, during the dasha of Moon, now all these three planets have compassion, and they are planets which signifies love, romance and sensuality. So during these phases, the person is possibly, there are high chances of him getting married or getting into some kind of relationship. Similarly, in the dasha of Rahu, there is a possibility that the person would get into a relationship, but that relationship would not fructify. So similarly, in the dasha of Mars, that the person might lose his parents. In the dasha of Saturn, there is a possibility that the person might lose his parents. So these rules are not fixed, but it depends upon each and every horoscope how things manifest. But generally, as a thumb rule, these rules can be applied, and it has been seen that it works wonderfully well. So, other than the Rashi chart, what we have as horoscopes, there are other divisional charts. Now, divisional charts are Varga Chakras. Varga Chakras are charts which was prepared with a very unique purpose. Now, there are numerous and millions of occupations what a human being can pursue. Now, how to judge that what kind of an occupation would give him highest success? For example, many might be intelligent they are, and in what field they can use their intelligence, it all depends upon the positioning of the planets. Now, if a person is hardworking but he does not have a good memory skill, then probably he might not become a doctor, because to be a doctor, the person has to have good memory power. He should have good understanding of the anatomy of human body. He should also be hardworking to learn the concepts of life. If any of these things are missing, then probably he would not become a doctor. So similarly, what kind of qualities would affect a person depends upon the placement of the planets, and all this can be found out with the help of the divisional charts. Now there are 16 divisional charts, which is called the Shodasha Varga, which are, and Maharishi Parashara gave the highest importance to these 16 divisional charts. Now each of the divisional chart represents a particular aspect of life. For example, the D9 chart, or which is called the Namansha, is it depicts the dharma of a person, the kind of activities he would perform for growing spiritually. The D10 chart shows the career success. The D60 charts shows the overall growth of a person spiritually and the deeds what he has karma what he has brought from the previous life. So similarly each chart has a specific purpose for which it is prepared, and only with these divisional charts correct prediction about a person's life can be made. The Rashi chart is only a physical manifestation of what would happen to a person. So we will discuss each chart in detail over our series of lectures. For the time being, thank you.